In your cover letter and throughout your resume, you are gesturing toward the essence of who you are, establishing your character, you are establishing your story and your journey to get from where you started to where you are today. The point of this story is to make being hired at the firm the obvious, natural, organic next step in your journey. There shouldn't be any question as to why you're attempting to be at the firm if you've told the story well. Remember that storytelling is important through the cover letter, but certainly through the interview process, because human beings are fundamentally motivated to make decisions based on how they feel. We often like to assume that we are rational beings, but we often use logic and reason as a post facto means of justification for what is otherwise an emotional decision. So if somebody knows you, likes you, and trusts you, they're going to hire you regardless of your merit. Merit is a factor, but it's not the thing. That's a good story will involve a character or a hero that embarks on a journey and overcomes a series of obstacles to become a better version of themselves. So wherever possible in your resume and cover letter, I want you to tell a progression story. I want you to talk about how you got your first start working by scrubbing dishes at a restaurant, and then in 2 years were made into manager. Because that's a great story of progression. That's a great story of overcoming obstacles and defeating the odds. You also want to make sure that you are using the cover letter specifically as an opportunity, and frankly, the interview as well, to reframe weaknesses, gaps in your timeline, gaps in your work experience, lower grades, or less substantial work experience. Flip the narrative. You're not somebody who just was lazy. You're not somebody who just didn't try. You're not somebody who doesn't have the mental capacity to be a great lawyer. There were other reasons why your grades were low or you didn't have as much extracurricular work experience. Take these written components as an opportunity, and the interview is an opportunity to explain that. At the end of the day, persuade your audience to champion your vision for the future in which that city, that firm, and that practice area are your natural next step in the progression of your life. This is a little bit more, we'll go into how to own your weaknesses in the interview process in the next workshop, part 2. But I just want to say that firms are willing to take a look at people who do have slightly lower grades or slightly less work experience or slightly weaker extracurriculars if there's a way that you've compensated for it in another area. So for example, if you had lower grades, but you want to talk a little bit in your interview or your cover letter, for example, about how you were responsible for caring for a younger sibling or a sick family member, they will take into account that there were extenuating circumstances that prevented you from being as involved in school. Or if you had to work in order to pay your law school tuition, and that's why your grades were good, but you don't have as much extracurricular experience again, or your grades were compromised a little bit because of a health issue, you can put that into your addendum. So part of what I mean by own your weaknesses is supplement any narrative around you having a deficiency with anything that will help compensate for it.